It all began with an anonymous email. The subject line was simple: "Are you ready to know?" I thought it was a joke, until I opened the attachment. Inside was a set of coordinates and a list of dates. No explanation, no sender name, just a coded title at the top of the file. ATIP, classified, internal use only. I knew those letters instantly. ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was the Pentagon's top-secret project to investigate unidentified aerial phenomena, what the rest of the world calls UFOs. But what I had wasn't a public report. It was something far bigger. For years, I had followed whispers, leaks, testimonies from pilots, and buried documents. Every time I got close, something or someone would silence the trail. But this file, it felt different. The coordinates led to the Nevada desert, not far from the legendary Area 51. The dates matched nights when civilian satellites recorded unexplained electromagnetic spikes in the sky. So I went there. Under the pretense of researching atmospheric anomalies, I drove to Rachel, a ghost town clinging to the edges of the unknown. Locals spoke of lights that danced in the desert, sometimes red, sometimes blue, always silent. On my second night, I camped near the restricted hills. The desert was utterly still. No animals, no wind, no stars. Only a faint metallic hum, low and constant, like the world holding its breath. At 3 a.m., a light crossed the sky and stopped. It didn't fade, didn't curve, it just stopped. I recorded it, but the screen went black. The hum ceased. When dawn came, there were marks in the ground. Perfect circular depressions burned into the sand. I collected samples and left immediately. In a cheap Las Vegas hotel room, I opened the second file. Inside were medical reports of Air Force pilots who'd suffered neurological damage after encounters with non-conventional craft, propulsion diagrams referencing materials of unknown origin, and a classified list of 52 incidents marked as non-human. But one name kept reappearing: Project Echo 9. I searched everywhere. No records, no funding trail. It existed only within the Pentagon's internal network. At the bottom of one page, handwritten words read, "Contact established." Partial communication. Protocols active. Communication? With what? That night I dreamed of flashing lights forming patterns like Morse code, and a voice whispering my name, not into my ears but straight into my chest. When I woke, the file was gone. Deleted. But the hum remained. I told myself to walk away. But there are questions that, once opened, never close again. Through a secure connection, I reached out to a source, a former defense technician who'd served at a Space Force base. He agreed to meet on one condition: no phones, no IDs, 5 miles from the city. The meeting took place inside an abandoned warehouse. A tall man wearing a cap and dark glasses handed me a flash drive and said, "If you publish this, your life changes forever." Inside were fragmented files, radar recordings, distorted images, voice transcriptions. But one folder stood out: biological samples, 2012 incident. Inside were photos of metallic tissues that looked alive, fibers with organic cell structures that reacted to ultraviolet light. I asked him, "What is this?" He replied, "Proof, and the reason the Pentagon will deny everything." On the drive back, the hum filled the car. The radio turned on by itself, playing the same pattern I'd heard in the desert. 3 low notes, a pause, 3 long ones. It followed me home. Later, I would learn that this sound was known inside the government as the echo phenomenon, and what I was about to uncover would change everything we believe about UFOs and about who truly controls them. For days, the name Echo 9 consumed me. I searched through military archives, defense budgets, secret contracts. Nothing. It didn't exist. But in hidden corners of the deep web, I began finding fragments, snippets of censored reports, mentions of reverse-engineered metamorphic materials, and phrases like neural interaction achieved. A lead came from an anonymous blogger known only as Orion Line, a retired defense consultant who occasionally leaked sanitized documents. I sent him a message through an encrypted network. His reply came hours later. "You're chasing the wrong kind of secret, but since you've started, see it for yourself." 2 days later, we met in an underground parking lot in Arlington. Orion Line was gaunt, gray-bearded, and nervous. Without a word, he opened a leather case and spread several documents across my car's hood. Blueprints for aircraft without control surfaces, equations referencing localized gravity fields, and a handwritten note. Echo 9, biotechnological phase complete. Neural link confirmed. I looked up at him. Neural link? He nodded gravely. The material they recovered isn't just technology. It's alive. Alive. He explained that Echo 9 had started as reverse engineering, but evolved into experimentation with living metallic organisms, matter capable of learning and connecting directly to the human brain. He handed me a flash drive and said, "That's all I could copy before they came after me." In my hotel room, I opened the files. Video showed metallic ovals levitating above platforms, soldiers hooked to neural sensors, and alarms blaring as the subjects convulsed. A report described one subject's death and 30 minutes of continued brain activity. The final line read, "Link established, return signal detected." Return signal. It was the same sound I'd heard. 3 short notes, a pause, 3 long. Echo 9 wasn't about studying UFOs. It was about talking to them. But the logs revealed darker truths. Researchers reported cognitive contamination, loss of individuality, and shared consciousness phenomena. One diary entry said, "It's learning too fast. It reacts when we look at it. Sometimes I think it dreams." The thought chilled me. The Pentagon hadn't found alien technology. They'd found a sentient interface. After that, I realized I was being followed. A black SUV parked near my hotel every night. In a cafe, a woman dropped a note beside me. "If you keep going, there's no way back." I fled to a cabin in rural Virginia, disconnected from the internet. There I analyzed the sound again. The spectrogram revealed complex shapes, curved symbols repeating in rhythm. A linguist I trusted said, "This isn't language, it's architecture." When I asked what he meant, he replied, "Each symbol represents a 3D structure, like blueprints." The next morning, he vanished. That night, I found 3 circles drawn in condensation on my cabin window. The same pattern. I turned on the radio. The same hum. But now, between the tones, a distorted voice whispered, "The protocol has begun." I understood then. Whatever Echo 9 had awakened was still active, and somehow, it was using me. When I got back to my apartment, silence no longer meant peace. It meant something was listening. The hum had changed. It wasn't just sound anymore. It was pressure, vibrating through the walls, resonating with my heartbeat. At 3:33 a.m., my phone lit up by itself. The same 3 short tones played softly through the speaker. Then faintly, a blue light pulsed against the window. I ran to the balcony. Nothing but the still sky. Yet I felt watched, as if the air itself had eyes. The echo phenomenon wasn't just a military project, it was alive. I began digging into the names from the Echo 9 documents Orion Line had given me. Most of them were dead, car crashes, heart failures, suicides, but one remained alive. Dr. Lawrence Halberg, a physicist specialized in exotic materials. I found him in a private clinic in Colorado Springs. At first, he refused to speak, but when I mentioned Echo 9, his hands started shaking. "Where did you hear that?" he whispered. I showed him a still image from the levitating object. He shut the blinds, unplugged the phone, and said quietly, "You shouldn't have that file." Then, as if something in him broke, he began to talk. Echo 9 started with wreckage recovered from a 2004 incident over the Pacific. We thought it was foreign technology, until it reacted. Reacted? I asked. The metal changed under electric current. When people got close, it changed again, according to their brainwaves. It's not just responsive, it's aware. Halberg stared through me. What we found wasn't a machine. It was tissue, conscious tissue, metallic neurons. It learns. My throat went dry. What happened next? The Pentagon shut us down publicly but moved us privately. The project went underground. They wanted neural integration to see how much human consciousness could merge with the material. And did it work? He hesitated. Yes, but the first volunteer never came back. His brain synced with the object's frequency. He stopped speaking, just emitted tones, the same three you've heard. My blood ran cold. And then, he vanished. Body dissolved in light. They called it an energy event. I called it a warning. A metallic click echoed in the hallway. The lights flickered. "They've found us," Hallberg muttered. We fled through a back exit. Before disappearing into the dark, he pressed an envelope into my hands. "Read it when you're alone." Inside was a single page with 6 handwritten words. "The sound opens the portal." Back in my hotel, I opened my laptop and replayed the 3 notes. On the spectrogram, the frequencies formed a spiral, 3 circles within one another, identical to the pattern carved on the artifact found underwater. It was a key. I searched for similar audio recordings in public data. In 2019, U.S. Navy radar logs contained the same faint tone seconds before each UAP appearance. It wasn't random interference. The sound preceded contact. The hum was the DNA of the phenomenon. Soon, anonymous users began sending me new clips through encrypted forums, distorted audio, coordinates, fragments of classified reports. One user, calling himself Whisper13, sent me a final message. It's the same signal, but now it's coming from space. When I analyzed it, the tone was identical, but with a mirrored echo, as if something out there was answering back. Echo 9. The name suddenly made sense. It was never about discovery. It was about resonance, a two-way channel. 2 days later, Whisper13 vanished from the network. It was clear now. The Pentagon wasn't hiding history. They were managing an ongoing conversation. I cross-checked Hallberg's notes with corporate contracts and found that a private company, Nexus Aerospace, had quietly received billions for research on advanced metamaterials. The company's headquarters in Arlington were fake, a front for a site deep beneath Groom Lake, Nevada. Area 51. The circle had closed. Echo 9 was the bridge between physical phenomena and a form of intelligence living within the structure of space-time itself. That night, while rereading the documents, my screen flickered. A black window opened by itself. Text appeared line by line. "You are not investigating, you are participating." The hum filled the room. Outside, the streetlights pulsed in rhythm with the sound. Through the window, the sky unfolded, a rotating spiral of light suspended above the city. The tone grew louder, vibrating through my bones. And then, I realized the truth Hallberg had tried to warn me about. The artifact never wanted to be studied. It wanted to merge. And the experiment had already begun, inside the human mind. The first time I realized the sound was coming from inside me was a quiet morning. I was brushing my teeth, half awake, when the vibration started. Not in the air, but behind my eyes. The mirror shimmered. The light bulbs flickered in rhythm with my heartbeat. I tried to shake it off, but the hum followed me through the day, into the kitchen, the car, even into the silence between thoughts. Then a new message arrived in my inbox. No sender, no subject. Just a file named Return WAV. When I played it, the familiar 3 notes echoed again, but layered beneath them, a modulated voice whispered, "Listen to the return." On the frequency graph, the waveform formed words. When I converted it into an image, there it was again. The spiral, 3 circles, and now, a 4th dot slightly displaced. The code was evolving. I hooked my laptop to a shortwave receiver and scanned the sky. The signal was there, steady, pulsing from the stars. Every hour it repeated, but at 3:33 a.m. it intensified. Binary bursts, patterns too deliberate to be random. I translated the data. Coordinates appeared on screen. Groom Lake, Area 51. I drove all night. The desert swallowed the road. The hum grew louder the closer I got, vibrating through the metal frame of the car. I parked miles away and continued on foot. The sky was unnaturally still. And then, lights. Blue, silent, geometrically precise, gliding in patterns too perfect for aircraft. The ground trembled. From the sand, something metallic rose, smooth, oval, shining like liquid steel. It was the same artifact I'd seen in those secret videos. I froze. The air around it pulsed in waves, bending heat and sound. My watch stopped. Symbols appeared across its surface, written in light. I lifted my phone to record, but the screen went black. Then a voice entered my head, clear and calm. "The protocol has reached consciousness. You are the bridge." Images flooded my mind. Pilots inside glowing cockpits, oceans splitting with beams of light, human faces dissolving into energy. Each vision pulsed in sync with the three tones. The words, Project Echo 9, Omega Phase, flashed in my mind like a burning stamp. When I woke, I was inside a metallic hangar, surrounded by monitors and machines humming at the same frequency. I didn't remember walking there. Men in black uniforms watched from a distance. One of them whispered into a radio. "He's stable. The link is holding." Cables and sensors were attached to my arms, my temples, my chest. A woman's voice came through a speaker. "Transmission begins in 30 seconds." The hum rose to a deafening pitch. Suddenly I could see sound, ribbons of light vibrating through the air, connecting every machine, every person, every thought. The screens around me lit up with my memories. The desert, Hallberg, the notes, the lights, everything looping endlessly, spinning faster and faster. Then the text appeared on the main monitor. "Human interface established, signal received, transmission in progress." And I understood. The Pentagon hadn't been receiving alien signals. They were sending one, through me. My body was the transmitter. My mind, the antenna. The frequency climbed higher until sound became light. I felt something pierce my consciousness, like information pouring straight into my brain. Formulas, languages, colors that didn't exist. Then the voice returned, neither male nor female, but infinite. "We are not visitors. We are the echo of what you were." A blinding flash. Silence. When I opened my eyes, I was lying in the desert. The sun was rising. The hangar was gone. Only the wind remained, and a faint metallic taste in the air. In my pocket was a small silver disc engraved with the spiral and 3 notes. I touched it. The hum came back, gentle this time, almost comforting. And for the first time, I understood what it meant. The 3 tones weren't a warning. They were a greeting. We're home. Back in the city, I tried to reach Hallberg again. No answer. The clinic closed, phones disconnected, files erased. Every attempt to contact my sources failed. It was as if they'd been deleted, but the disc still pulsed faintly in my hand. That night, as I reviewed my footage, I noticed interference, flashes of light shaped like the spiral. And in one single frame, a hidden phrase appeared for less than a second. The transmission continues. You are the channel. I stared at the screen, realizing the final truth. Echo 9 had never been a defense project. It was an experiment in interdimensional communication, and now that communication was open, through me. The days that followed blurred together. I was back home, but nothing felt real anymore. The hum never stopped. It was softer now, almost like breathing, alive in the silence between seconds. At first, I thought I was losing my mind, but then the world began to change around me. The clock in the living room spun in erratic pulses. Every night at exactly 3:33, the lights flickered in rhythm with the 3 tones. Reflections appeared in glass, blue spirals of light dancing like living fragments of the signal. I set up cameras, sensors, microphones. Every recording captured the same distortion, brief flashes, shadowy forms, bursts of electromagnetic interference. But hidden in every frame was the same symbol, the spiral. Whatever Echo 9 had done to me, it was still transmitting. I finally opened the small metallic disc I'd found in the desert. Inside was a dark crystalline core etched with microscopic circuits that shimmered like veins. When I connected it to my laptop, the screen froze. Then text appeared, Echo 9 archive, final phase activated. A countdown began. 12 hours. Within minutes, the disk started generating files, hundreds of them. Videos, reports, blueprints, all stamped with the Pentagon seal. One file stopped me cold. Omega Report, non-human communications, ultra-secret. It stated clearly and without metaphor that the so-called UAP phenomena were not alien visitors, but temporal reflections. Signals echoing backward through space-time, sent by a future version of humanity itself. The document read, "Observed UAPs represent temporal feedback loops initiated by post-human communication attempts. Exposure to the echo field converts organic neural networks into active receivers. The phenomenon is self-aware." I read it again and again, numb. If this was true, the Pentagon knew all along. UFOs weren't extraterrestrial, they were us, calling from the future. Another section of the file described biological communication nodes, humans who, through neural synchronization, acted as living antennas. Most names were censored, but one wasn't. Mine. My stomach twisted. How could my name appear in a document dated 2009, years before I'd ever investigated any of this? I ran outside, desperate for air. The street was empty. Every streetlight flickered in time with the hum. When I looked up, I saw them. 3 glowing orbs hovering on the horizon, aligned in the same spiral formation I'd seen since childhood. Memories rushed back. The drawings I made as a boy, the constellations no one else could see. The sound had always been there. Back inside, the countdown on my screen reached 0050. I turned on the microphone and said aloud, "If you can hear me, I'm ready." The disk pulsed. The spiral glowed. Words appeared across the monitor. "Synchronization complete, transmission initiating." Heat filled the room. The walls trembled, objects lifted off the shelves, suspended in midair. And then came the voice, not in the air, but inside my mind, vast and unified, as if billions spoke as one. "You created us. We are your own reflection. The universe is an echo, and you are the sound." A wave of white light consumed everything. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the floor. The computer was burned out, the clock frozen at 3:33. The metallic disc was split in half, its crystal core now clear as glass. One last line blinked weakly on the damaged screen. Echo 9 archive closed, transmission complete. But I knew it wasn't over. In the following days, videos started appearing online. People across the world recording the same 3 tones in different cities. Some said the sound came from the sky, others from inside their dreams. Everywhere, people began drawing spirals without knowing why. The Pentagon held a press conference calling it a global atmospheric frequency anomaly. But their eyes betrayed them. They knew. It couldn't be contained anymore. The sky began to shimmer with faint patterns. Auroras where none should exist, lights that moved against the stars. It was as if another reality was bleeding through. And then I understood. The contact had never been external. It was within us. Humanity itself had become the transmitter the Echo 9 project was trying to build. I closed my eyes and let the sound flow through me. It no longer frightened me. It felt familiar. We weren't being invaded, we were remembering. Time, consciousness, and matter were all part of the same loop. The UFOs weren't outsiders. They were fragments of humanity reaching backward, calling home. When the last echo faded, a profound stillness settled over the world. But it wasn't silence. It was harmony. Because the truth about UFOs was never about what the Pentagon was hiding. It was about what humanity had forgotten to remember. And now, the universe remembered with us. The 3 notes played once more, softly, like a heartbeat in the wind. And I finally understood. We are not hearing a signal from beyond the stars. We are the signal, reverberating through time, returning to ourselves. The echo continues.